Hey guys, it's Magda. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build. So today I am building a small home in the world of Willow Creek. I believe the lot is called Riddle Rose. But I was inspired by a picture I saw online, which I will place here so you guys can see it as well. And for this house, the thing is, it doesn't look exactly like it because it's a lofted house. So when it comes to lofted spaces in The Sims, you can use platforms. The only thing is that you give up space like right underneath them. So it can get a little bit tricky. And I did play around with the platforms because I really did want to make it work. But you give up the space downstairs. And honestly, I wanted to make sure this family had plenty of space for their rooms or like the bathrooms and stuff. So that is why I just ended up doing the second floor. I do want to give a heads up. My voice sounds a little bit off. It is because of my allergies. I'm not sick. So I've been taking some honey. Hopefully the honey helps. But yeah, the the family that lives here, I imagine, is a mom and daughter duo. You guys can play with the family dynamic however you guys want. I only like to think about it because it helps me clutter up the house on the inside. So choosing what clutter items and stuff. So that's why I like thinking of like the family dynamic, but you guys can change it or even change the house itself to what better fits your Sims. I don't have any issue with it. And you can actually download all the houses that I build on my gallery. My gallery ID is Max10 Martinez. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out. I wanted to make something different because I feel like here recently I've been really doing a lot of like larger family homes, which actually are my favorite type of houses to build. Um, Sometimes I do get a little bit overwhelmed, so I feel like every now and then I'll take a break and I might make like an apartment or a small home. I actually do not make enough tiny houses. I get intimidated by them honestly because even though they are smaller houses, I feel like a lot of the times you have to like cram in a lot of like items, like the necessities like for your sim, like a stove or fridge and bathroom. So I get a little bit intimidated by making tiny houses. I feel like that's one of my goals as well for this year is to make more tiny houses because yeah, I want to get over that fear. But yeah, so I used a lot of the My Dream Home Decorator game pack for this house just because it resembled a lot of what the actual picture had. And I'm really pleased with how it came out. For this little tiny hallway, I really didn't use much for it. It's just like a closet space, I imagine, for The Sims. Um, Originally, I was thinking I was going to place the door to the bathroom there, but surprisingly, I had enough space in the back of the house to include the door for the bathroom. Another thing too that I did do differently is for this picture, well, for the actual picture for the house, there's a sink like right in the back wall. And you can see it as you can like come in, I imagine. And I was gonna leave it. I liked how it looked and it like meshed in really well with the overall color scheme of the house. And it was different. I really liked it because it was different. But I feel like it just didn't make sense for this house. Um, I feel like the bathroom was big enough to include the actual like sink and bathtub and the toilet. So I ended up deleting it and just placing like the door to the backyard there and then placed a desk on the other wall. And I want to try to do like little weird stuff like that in my future houses as well. Because something that what that reminded me of is for like hotels, like older hotel rooms or motel rooms. I'm not sure if they do it in the newer ones. I don't think so. I don't think I've been here recently to a hotel room that has it like that. But I remember back in the day, you would see them, and there would be like a counter space and like a mirror on the outside of the bathroom. So, like in the actual room. So, yeah, I feel like it can kind of be a little bit realistic. So, I want to do little things like that that are outside of the norm. I don't know, just to kind of break up the houses. So that's something that I'm planning on doing. And for the living room, I think I did pretty good when it came to the living room as well, to kind of match it up to what the picture was looking like. The only thing is, like in The Sims, the proportion is different. Um, for like the walls or like the furniture. So I really wanted to make this look like it was built in into the wall, but it just looked weird. So I ended up just putting using these units, like these storage units, and I deleted the wall on the backside, and that's where like the built-in desk is going to be. Um, and I wanted to have like the couch attached to the actual like shelf, but it was looking weird. It looked really good in the picture, but I wasn't liking how it was looking here. And what I did is I think I placed like a plant in between the couches and that TV unit to kind of break up the space. And then for the front, where those front windows are at, I actually pushed back that wall just because it was extra space that I honestly was not planning on using. I think you can maybe fit in like a small breakfast table there, pushed up against the actual wall. Um, I didn't plan on doing it just because I knew I was going to add bar stools to the counters. So I didn't want to add anything there. What I do place though is like just a small, I think it came from Laundry Day. It's just a little small like drawer or like table drawer. I'm not sure what you would call it, but it's like the brown one that you'll see here in just a moment. But it's to kind of like, I was thinking that that's where they leave their things when they're coming in from outside. But yeah, so no table, but there is a table on the outside of the house. There's an outdoor eating table. I don't think I include a grill, a barbecue grill, maybe off camera in my screenshots. A lot of the times when I go back and take my screenshots after I've finished building the house, um, I might see something that I would like to add or I've forgotten. It's never not like it's never something super big. It's usually like a grill, a trash can, something. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I go back with like a refreshed mind, and I feel like there's something missing, and I might add something. So if you see the screenshots every now and then a little bit different from what you actually saw in the recording, that is why. But yeah, so here I am just working on the top of the loft. The roofing was kind of giving me a hard time. I feel like it was just a trim that I was using. It doesn't bother me. Hopefully, it doesn't bother you guys. I wasn't able to fix it, so I just left it. But for the top part of the loft, I'm really happy with how it came out. Again, thinking that it's a mom and daughter duo. I'm not sure how old the daughter is. Maybe she's a child sim or a teenager. Um, but yeah, both of their beds are upstairs and it's kind of like a shared space. I feel like it was okay because I feel like the daughter's maybe like a younger sim. So you guys can play with that dynamic. But I do kind of go back and forth and just cluttering up certain rooms of the house. I always like to make sure the overall overall structure and like the furniture of the house is set to how I want it. Just because sometimes you may need to add like an additional wall or cut out an extra wall to make everything fit the way you want it to fit. So that's my thought process when it comes to going back and forth to certain rooms. I do go into the kitchen, not the kitchen, the bathroom, the bathroom now. And for the bathroom, pretty much everything that you see here stays. The only thing that I do switch out is the floors. I liked how the floors was looking here. I'm not sure what my thought process was, but I know I do cut out and actually place tiles for the bathroom, which I feel like both look good. Every now and then I do like to add wood flooring though in the actual bathroom, because I feel like you see that when it comes to like older houses. And when I'm thinking about this house, is probably like an older house that they've had over the years and they just kind of have upgraded it as they've lived in. So I like to think that there's certain pieces to the house that they left, and yeah, and just kind of like refurbished certain parts of the house. So yeah, but I do put the tile and then clutter up the counters with things that I feel like the mom and daughter would use. I like not shoving, but making that shelf, um, shrinking it and putting it on the counter, which I think it came from like one of the clutter kits. I tend to use that a lot when it comes to the bathrooms. But anyways, here I am moving on to the exterior, and we're not done with the inside. Again, just thinking about making sure I have enough space to what I want to include. So I go back and make sure I have the space that I want to. And for that back patio, it is kind of small. So I don't, maybe that's why I forgot the grill, because it is kind of small. I think I just do like a small little couch there with the rug. I don't even think I add plants on the patio, which normally I do like to do. And then for the side yard is mostly what this house has. I do have a small, I guess you can say like a plant box or like a flower box. I don't know what you would call it. But I make it with actually like using the actual wall tool. And also, what I include is like a bench and, of course, the outdoor table. And I think there's like space to add monkey bars if you guys want to add like more activities for the yard. I feel like there's space. I just wasn't really thinking about that the family living here would do stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't really add any like of the insect. I don't know if it's like the insect little house. I don't know what it's called, but I know you can add that or more plant boxes maybe. But yeah, so I just do like these items. And when it comes to houses like this, honestly, I don't mind it being a smaller yard, because if you can see, there's like space that of course we can't build onto towards the back of this house, that's outside of like the borderline. But I like to imagine that that's actually part of their yard that they just have free for like their pets, if they have any, or like their child sims to like run around and play. So I don't mind not doing much of the backyard when it comes to these houses. When it comes to other houses where there's not much of a space, where there's like a brick wall or like um not much of a free space in the back, I do try to have more space in their actual yard so it doesn't look weird. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is my thought process. And then I do go into the back of the house now to officially do like their little office space. And what I did is I got one of the shelves that comes from the Snowy Escape pack, I think, and just change it to like a white swatch. And I do switch out the desk. I don't use that one, I don't think. I use more of like a wood that has like a, yeah, that one. I think that's the one that stays. And for some reason, some of the items do get deleted at one point, but I do fix it for the screenshots. I make sure all the items that I placed originally are on the shelf. And then for the back wall, I used this shelf that came from the high school pack, I believe, and then just clutter it up with just random items. I always forget that we have this like book, um the little books right here that come from like the book nook kit, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I always forget. I always use the base game books, the stack of books, because I always forget about that one, and I feel like it's really pretty. It has really pretty swatches. And yeah, so I just do the vase, and I think I do like the little city or the little sculpture as well. on top of that box. And I maybe do a rug, and I think that's pretty much it for this space. I imagine that maybe like the sim that lives here works from home, so they use that as kind of like a backdrop, whatever they have, all like the little clutter items on this shelf as like part of their backdrop. So I didn't want to overdo it with just like random objects. I wanted it to look, neatly placed. So that was my thought process. And then I think after this, I do go into the kitchen to clutter it up a little bit some more. Um, and I wanted to include items in the kitchen to what I normally do not include. For example, like there's this one spice rack that you put on the wall, that I always forget. I always forget it's a spice rack. For some reason, I think it's like a different object, and I never use it. I always use the one that I think both of them come from base game, but I always use the one that you put on the actual counter. Um, yeah, so I wanted to kind of use like different little items or different swatches of the items that I use. So, yeah, so that's what I did here. And I feel like the kitchen looks pretty much like the one in the picture. I feel like I did a really good job. The only thing is in the picture, I think the kitchen is a little bit smaller. And then this one's, of course, bigger because I wanted to make sure I had a dishwasher for the kitchen. And then for the stove, it was a little bit weird too. It was a little awkward because I'm not sure if you can see it here. No, you can't because it's only the stove top. So whenever you include like the actual built-in stove into the counters, and it's at the end of the counter, it kind of glitches, and you see some of like the stove in the glitch. I don't know, and it bothers me. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's why I did like a separated oven and stovetop, just because I wanted the stove to be on the other side, and then I didn't want it to glitch. So I used both items, and I think it looks pretty good. I normally don't do that, but I'm really, really pleased with how it came out. So I go back and forth now from the kitchen and the living room and just adding the final items. I think I do a lamp in the living room and a stack of magazines as well on top of the coffee table. And then for the kitchen, again, thinking about items that I normally do not use, I'm really glad that I picked out that flower vase, which I feel like I normally don't use. It's such a pretty vase. So yeah, so I'm happy that I included that for the kitchen. And then I do place an entryway table. It's technically a nightstand, I think. It came from Laundry Day. And then I also do a cat scratcher. I totally forgot that I included a cat for the house, for the household. I don't have a food bowl for the cat or a litter box, but that's something that I feel like you can easily incorporate into the house. The litter box, maybe including it in like the office space or even the bathroom. I feel like there's space for it. But yeah, so you guys can kind of play with that dynamic however you guys want. And then for this shelf, I think I'd use like some books the book basket that came from the Book Nook kit, which I should pull out here in just a moment. I was just thinking about this shelf unit as just storage for the family. And then I do clutter up more items, I think, where the TV shelf is at. And then I think we'll be moving on into the screenshots here shortly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know if any comments or suggestions that you guys may have down in the comments below. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye!
In a world of green, just like a dream, you and I standing wild and free, with petals so golden, the sun's warm kiss, a love so strong, a bliss. Whispers of the breeze, secrets unfold. It's you that I need, it's you that I want. When the world gets cold, it's you and me. When the sun comes back, you'll see. Oh, dandelion, the strength that you've shown. stronger each year.